friends, welcome to the first day of my writing blog. Big breath. Yeah, join me for a cup of tea or the beverage of your choice while I'll start off um, with this new adventure. If you're new here, I'm an indie author. I launched my imprint last year, and I'm now basically in the midst of starting to get it off the ground. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and it means that I have to find time to fit the indie publishing around my regular job because I'm nowhere close to being able to consider making writing my full-time job. I don't think that's in the cards, which is fine. It just means that writing needs to writing and all the other bits and pieces that many people might forget about need to fit in between everything. So that usually ends up looking like me using my lunch breaks for writing sprints, my weekends if there's nothing book related going on for more writing or other tasks. The reason why I wanted to start a writing blog now is that I just finished the first draft of something else. And if I don't have a first draft going on, I feel really weird. It's at this point, it's become so much of a habit that I find it really difficult not to write, which can be a nice problem to have, but sometimes it also has definitely consequences for your ability to feel like you earn rest. And yeah, it's a delicate balance, and I definitely haven't figured out how to do it in a way that gives me more of an assurance, let's say. I'm trying to work on it um, to make my life sustainable. But here we are. It's Friday morning. It's supposed to be very hot later today. In the summer month, my company has a policy where we only work half days on Fridays, which is beyond amazing, which means that today I actually have much more time to write or do other bits and pieces. Um, what I'm planning for today is something that is one of the least enjoyable things. It's putting in corrections. Um, and that is for the last volume in my big fantasy series, Slow Moon, that is being released in November. I've already put the corrections into the layout, into the print layout, but I still need to adjust the file that I will then create the EPUB file of. And I know that I'm probably doing it in a bit of an old-fashioned way, but one of the reasons why I think I stick to these things is that I wanted to learn how to typeset properly. Um, for the ebook files, I work with Atticus, and they have like a nifty thing where you can actually export a PDF with like a print layout at the end, but you don't really have that much control in Atticus. In InDesign, you have more control, which probably says a lot of about my personality. Okay, So basically, I've done the InDesign file, but I'm still having to do the Word file that I will then import into Atticus. I find Atticus very glitchy if you type in directly and does some weird stuff sometimes, so I'm a bit wary of it, yeah. So that's just my process. Um, I'm also for this weekend wanting to maybe not start writing for the next project, but definitely start planning. I mean, I've started planning. I've made some notes, have sort of a rough idea. I am definitely more of the gardener type of writer where I start, find out along the way, finish first draft, go back to the beginning, and then start to tweak in everything so it makes sense for what's the result at the end. I think one of the things where I might work a bit differently from other people is that I have never found a alternative to writing the first draft longhand. I think it came from that I really have to grasp every minute that I can get to write, and that it's much quicker to just pull out a notebook and write a few sentences instead of powering up a laptop. It also has to do with anxiety, I think, because a laptop battery can die, a notebook never dies. um, you might run out of ink, but it's easier to always have enough cartridges or enough ball pen ballpoint pens with you than to always have a laptop and with enough battery life. I don't know. You see, I started writing like a long, long time ago when things were a bit different. I didn't have a laptop for the longest time. I didn't even have a desktop computer for the longest time. I didn't have a printer. That was one of the things as well. Um, but I definitely need a printout at some point. So that's one of the things that I want to do is to um, get more of an idea where the new project goes. Um, and I already have the options of two notebooks. This is a lovely Leuchtturm notebook. This is my favorite brand of notebook. It's a German one. Because the pages are really ink fast and it's just beautiful. They're a bit broader than the Moleskine ones and roughly the same price, which is not great. Which is why at some point I set up my own notebooks on Amazon where I have exactly what I need. I always like the ruling to be a bit closer together. Here, every 10 pages, there's a chapter break because my chapters are always 10 pages long. So basically, I made my own bespoke paperback notebook. So either one of those is going to be the one. At the moment, I'm writing a lot with fountain pen. That's not always been the case. I tend to switch between biros and fountain pen. I used to do a lot of pencil, which was great for writing, but horrible for typing it up afterwards because of if you use like slightly yellow paper or cream paper, so much of it gets smudged, and I really think I ruined my eyes at some point. Um, so yeah, that's a bit more about my process. First draft handwritten, and second draft type it up. Already make quite a few difficult decisions. Um, I've seen it recommended for people who type as well, that they basically print out their first draft and then type it exactly as it is into the computer, or like, um, and then you really decide what you want to keep and what you want to discard. And that's basically how my system works as well. Um, at the moment, I'm also typing a new manuscript that I promised 3 beta readers and sensitivity readers by end of July. So that's exactly what I was talking about. So many projects in different stages that you need to take into account if you're a publishing house of one. Um, Also, my pipeline is pretty hefty because, as I said, I'm writing, 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 writing. But I don't want to just push them out and that's it. I want to have them edited. I want the covers to be beautiful. I want to have them like properly typeset, properly this and that, not just as an, not just is not, you know what I mean. It's, I used to do that as well, but I just had an ebook edition and that was it. But for my own satisfaction, I want a copy edition as well. I as of this date, I have only published in paperback and ebook. The next series that I'm going to publish next year, or the first volume of it, will have the first hardback edition, and that's meant more as a to sell at author fairs, to sell maybe via my website. Um, I don't really see myself. I don't know. I don't see the hardback edition taking off really, but I wanted to have a beautiful book. Really, that's why I planned it that like this. So yeah, there's a lot of planning involved, as you already see, um, and so my weekend is basically 3 days. I've kept this one free um, because I have a event coming up on the 12th of July where I'm going to have a stand at my local Pride. I think I hadn't mentioned it yet, but I write queer fantasy. That's my niche. It's a really broad niche. It's mostly set in like early medieval times, but there are also some that are more Renaissance inspired, and that's sort of the time frame that I'm working with. Recently, I've thought about going like beyond Renaissance times, maybe into like Gaslamp fantasy territory, but an awful lot needs to happen before I do that. I wonder whether I should take talk a bit more about the writing project that's actually supposed to be at the heart of the writing vlog. Probably a good idea to give you a bit of a sense what might be coming up. Um, it's a third volume in a series of standalones that are shortish. I think they're all about between 50,000 and 80,000 words long. So I don't want them to be massive, intimidating books. They are all standing on their own feet. There's one connecting factor of one character who basically pops up along the way. The third volume is probably going to be a bit more connected just because it's supposed to take place in an environment that I explored in the book before that. The series is called Tales of the Uncursed, and its center is a wizard of sorts who spent a lot of time living under a curse. Then he was cursed, and now he wreaks havoc in the world, basically. Oh, I mean, he would say he just tries to survive. And he pops up the first time in the series slatted for next year, so the hardback series. It's one of those characters where you plan to kill them off, you couldn't, and then he gets his own series. Yeah, that's. I mean, everyone knows like characters do their own thing, and he's definitely one who does his very own thing. Um, so that's the idea. The working title is Dragon Watch because as of the volume before that, um, they are now dragons in this world. The idea is a bit that there are magical ages. So basically, at one time, there's no magic in the world, and it starts to seep in, then it dies off again, then it comes back again, and people have to deal. So there are stories from way before about sorcerers and everything, but in when I started with the world, it was basically being wizard was be a political um, position. It wasn't doing magic, but at one point it had been. And then what happens when the magic comes back? What do the wizards in power do that don't have magical abilities, but then suddenly there are people who have it? And that also the idea of the big series that I'm publishing at the moment, Slow Moon. Um, and then going from that is sort of the next series will then be 20 years in the future when there's a lot more magic, and then going on from there. And then I have just published a novella that is set in like more Renaissance times, where again no magic. So it gives me a lot of possibilities to play with what stories mean to us and the concept of elemental magic. All the magic in this world comes in some way or other through the gods. The gods tend to be elemental, but you have different cultural traditions as well. And I'm looking forward to writing another book about dragons because the last one was fun. Um, it gives me the possibility to consider all the other dragon books that I've read and say, no, not doing that. Maybe do that. Not that. And I think that's sort of what writing is, to find your own way through all the cultural perceptions, through all the other books that you've read before. So because reading is such a big part of what I do, I might also feature what I'm reading, because feeding your brain is sort of I think it's why writing works. If I would stop reading, I wouldn't write. I don't know if that makes sense to everyone. But so yeah, uh, buckle in. I think I'm going to splice like phone footage throughout this, and then do like longer sessions like this where I'm just ranting, yapping, whatever. Um, be warned, my phone is really crappy, um, and I'm doing my best. I will probably not talk a lot while I'm out in public. Maybe just give you a quick impression of what I'm doing. Um, I tend to write in my local coffee shop, which is really lovely because for once I'm sort of a regular there, and also because I'm writing longhand, lots of people come up to me and ask what I'm doing, because when you're on a laptop, people always assume that you're working. When you're writing longhand, people either assume that you're writing your diary or that you're actually working on a novel, and have lots of lovely interaction with local people because they see me all the time. So yeah, when I'm working from home, I'm usually then going down to the coffee shop for lunch, have a writing sprint, go back to do my second half of the workday. Pretty similar when I'm in the office. I'm in the office twice a week at the moment, which is wonderful. It really breaks up the week and yeah, sort of makes the time go really fast, to be honest. I can't fathom that we're already at the end of June. Summer solstice has just been, and now I'm preparing for the next half of the year with like lots of book type events coming up in October, September, November, kind of. That's usually when everything's kicking off. I didn't have that many books event yet this year, and the one that I went to, I sold one book to another vendor before the market started. And even though the market was like a bit slow for everyone, it was still okay. Yes, that's probably going to be the reality for most of it. I'm really looking forward to the Pride event though, because these books are exceedingly queer, as I always say, and so that's the main audience. And I'm also then a local small business, so there are lots of connection points for the books. If I haven't mentioned it yet, my pronouns are they, them. So yeah, I'm part of the queer community, which is why being at the Pride event is really exciting. Okay, I better stop talking. I've talked for so long now. Um, I will try and document as much as I can, and yeah, sit down and update you what's been going on. See you in a bit. Working in collections. It's Saturday morning. It's supposed to be a really hot day, so I'm very soon going down to the coffee shop to start working more on the second draft of the manuscript that needs to go to beta reading end of July. And maybe I'm going to take a book and sit down and read afterwards, ideally on my favorite bench under a tree. Yeah, I think that's the plan for today. I'm going to maybe make a few more notes about the upcoming first draft that I want to start. I think I'm going with the vanilla colored notebook. So I need to now choose like a little companion book. I like to have like a little booklet where I note down ideas while I'm going in some way or other. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do today. It's Sunday morning. It's already incredibly hot. Yesterday I managed to type up a good chunk. I think, yeah, I definitely crossed the 50,000 word mark yesterday, which was sort of I don't know, I don't really go by word count, but somehow it is also the goal that I had in mind yesterday. And I made that also because the coffee shop is climatized. The cottage isn't. So what easy to just stay there for a while and then go back to my favorite bench and read some more. I managed to get ahead with my reading yesterday, so I'll have like a bit more than, I think I have like 120 pages left. I should be able to do today. Really enjoying Oathbound. The whole series was amazing. The third one, I know why people don't rate it as high. I think it's a change of pace. Um, but in general, it's an amazing series, and I'm totally hooked. Um, for today, yeah, I think I'm sort of in between. Should I start on the EPUB version of Volume 6? Because that's something that I really need to do. But yesterday, the Wi-Fi in the coffee shop wasn't really working properly, and I definitely need Wi-Fi to do that. Which would mean that I'm taking a lot of stuff with me. Um, and then if it doesn't work, I can't really do it there. I might have to do it later here if I want to. I mean, it's Sunday after all. So what I'm thinking at the moment is that I'm just taking the laptop and try to get a bit more typing done, then maybe try and finish the book. I might drive up to the Common, which is a lovely place where you can sit under trees, have a bit of air around you. I used to do that a lot just after work when it was just brutally hot. Um, I also did it in lockdown a lot. Just drive up, put a blanket under a tree, and just sit in the grass or grass adjacent. So that's sort of the plan for today. And yesterday was strange because I only actually worked 3 hours on the books. Um, and then the rest of the day I read, cooked stuff, and just mooched around the house, which was nice, but it also felt a bit. Ugh. And I think that's what I was talking about before, where it's difficult to truly let yourself rest at some point. As I said, I'm working on it. So yesterday I said, yeah, just trying to make the most of it. And today I definitely need to water the garden tonight. I didn't do it yesterday. Probably should have. I probably give some of the I have some salads and bowls. I might give them a drink before I leave. Um, and that's the plan for today. What I'm thinking is that I'm this first introductory vlog that I basically just do it for this weekend because the first part is already really long and I don't really want to blow it up more than it needs to be. That's all I'm thinking. See you in a bit. It is still absolutely scorching outside, so I've fled inside. If you made it through the video to this point, please leave a rain emoji because we really need some rain. At the end of everything, I finished the book. And it was amazing. I will post on my Instagram about it. It definitely was worth all those pages. Um, I managed to type up a really good chunk. I feel much calmer now. I think I definitely will be able to finish the first draft and the third draft um, of the manuscript, that it's then ready for beta reading. And I also, which is a nice thing to wrap this wrap the whole vlog up this time, is like this is going to be the book for my new first draft for Dragon Watch. And that's going to be the really cute little companion booklet. I have this lying around. I have a terrible habit of picking up little notebooks. Um, so yeah, these two are what you're going to see quite a bit in the blog. Thank you so much for bearing with me as I'm trying to get my head around such a big vlog. I've done like really small ones before, but nothing on the scale. I'm going to have some fun with trying to fill it all together and put in little captions and everything. So give me a thumbs up and subscribe if this is something that you'd like to see. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere under Carly Writes Stuff. The handle is in the last slide at the end. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.